Hi everybody, this is your boy Darkblade, Exa Dark and Forces Gaming Network, aka Black Hawk, Division Leader for DCUO. Welcome to the new series I'm making on here called Fallout 4 Defense Structures. This video is entitled Brother Eye, Part 2. Please, enjoy. We're going to go with the lasers. Mostly because, as I said, this is supposed to be Brother Eye. I want to see red lasers pretty much dead from the skies. Alright, so we're going to be building 12 of these. Now, this is what I have planned for it. Let me back up a little bit so you guys can see. I don't want to fall off. The whole time you're up here, try to keep your wits about you and try to keep an ideal area of where you're standing so you don't fall off. Now, this is the square we're going to be building on. It's the one with the green outline, the floor and roof. So this is what I plan. We're going to put some stuff on the screen so you guys can see it. I'm planning to put 4 right here and 4 right there. That leaves gaps on the left side and right side, so we're going to put 2 there and 2 here. That will give me my 12. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking of doing. However, I'm also not going to be leaving the structure up here. We're going to get rid of it so that we can have our turrets up here with nothing holding it up. So it looks like a somewhat like a satellite, you know, like Brother Eye. But for those of you who actually, you know, want that workaround, you're going to keep the supports up here so that it actually has something on it. So you're going to be putting all your turrets inside this space here. Right? All your turrets here. Inside this space. Now, since I'm doing, not having any structure up here, I'm actually going to be building somewhat outside of this square. Because nothing's going to be holding this stuff up anyway, so, yeah. And instead of having a square, I want it to be like a circle instead. So we're going to do our stuff a little bit different. Alright, so first off, let's go ahead and get our turrets out of here. Now we're going to need 12 of these, so we're going to go ahead and just use 12. You can use as many as you want. I already have a structure at one of my places that has just 4 turrets like this. Now, the reason that this structure works out so well is because these turrets are not spread out whatsoever. They're pretty much all congregate in the same area, so when one starts firing at another, they all start firing at the same thing. And as you guys know, no matter how weak something is, when you have a group of something, it makes it that much stronger. For instance, I don't really want to talk about it, but let's talk about zombies. Slow, weak, not that big of a deal. But in a large group, yeah, now they're a problem. Alright, so I think that's 12. I might have made too many. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it looks like I made too many. 2, 3. You know what? We're going to go ahead and scrap that one. Yeah. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. There we go, 12. Yeah. Okay, so the reason that this works so well and so that it's so efficient and OP, when it sees an enemy, they all shoot the same enemy, instantly killing it, moving on to the next, and next, and next, and next. Instead of having everybody taking one thing at a time, it just wipes everything you see instantly, then moves on to the next, and to the next. And no matter how many enemies you have, it's pretty much like it's just like sweeping across the field. So everything just dies. This is why this is so effective. Okay, so another thing you might be noticing is, wow, you're going to have all these in one square if you're going to be building it like, you know, with the structure still up here, instead of actually around it, kind of like you have right now. How's that going to work out? Well, as you guys can see, I can't really move this turret too close to the other turret. It has to be a little bit of space. You can't put things on top of each other. So how am I going to fit 4 across the top, like I said earlier, 4 along the bottom part, like I said earlier, and then 2 on the sides, when all I can do right now is just do that? So how is that going to work out? We're going to be slightly doing a little bit of a glitch. We're going to be pretty much placing these turrets close to each other by actually not placing them, but placing something else. Alright, let me show you what I mean. Hopefully this works up here. Sometimes you don't see it actually work because of what you're standing on. Anyway, when it comes to these mats, we're going to be using these mats to make things appear next to each other. Now, for this to work, Any of these mats will work. Any of these mats. I've actually tested and used them all. So I can say pretty much from right here all the way over here to the left side, these all work. I haven't tried any of these, but I imagine they also work too. However, we're going to go ahead and use this. This is like the basic mat that you see most people use, especially if you go online and check. Oh, looks like we're about to have a rad storm. Anyway, I'm going to place this down. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it right here. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. When it comes to making things, pretty much, you know what? The best way I can show you is like this. Let me place down another one real quick. Before I place that, as you can see, I can't really place this mat too close to a turret. The same way I can't place another turret too close to it. However, that changes if I put something else on top of this. What I mean is this. Let's say I'm not actually trying to move the mat at all. Let's say I want to put this turret next to this one. Well, all I have to do is put this turret on top of the mat. And if I do it the right way, when I lift up the mat, I end up lifting up both. And now all I have to do is just place the mat. Not the turret. Place the mat. There. Now a turret is close to this other turret and it shouldn't be possible. And you know it did you right, because once you click on it and pick it up, now it says you can't move it. Or place it there. My bad. You can't place it there. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be using these mats to place things close to things. Heck, if I wanted to, I could even place it here. But as you can see, it's all based on where I can place the mat at. Since the mat still has to follow the same, space structure. Or space laws, whatever you want to call it. The mat's too close for me to place it next to this thing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pretty much just extend the mat out. So let me put this back up here. Alright, so using this same thing, what we're going to do is we're going to take the mat that we have here. I think I made a... yeah, there goes the second mat. We're going to stack the mats on top of each other to extend them outwards. Now, I usually do this little glitch thing when I want to make things stand out further into other things, or if I want to increase the height on it. Now, what I mean by increase the height on it is using this same folder or stacking stuff on top of each other and lifting it up. Sometimes I'll just do something like this. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a higher height on stuff. Like, let's say I want to place something at a slightly higher height. I'll do this and then I'll place an item on top of it. And it gives me that height I want. Alright. Now, let me scrap some of these to get my stuff back. Alright. Oops, we still have more to get, it looks like. Okay, that's the original mat. Cool. But since we're not going for height, we need to go for length. So what I'll actually do is, instead of doing that, I'll place this like right on the tip of the thing. Like that. And that extends it out. If I want to, then I'll extend it out even more so. And then when I lift up one... oops, I didn't have that on there. Then when I lift up one, I end up lifting them all up. Wow, okay, that's not what... it must be... because of the roofing. Okay, we'll put this over here then. Sometimes the roofing can mess you up. There. When I lift up one, I lift them all up. And then once again, I'll just put the turrets on top of it, and then it works. Alright. Those of you who have a hard trouble trying to get this to work right, let me tell you a way to do this easy. Okay, we're going to scrap that, and we're going to just pick this up. What you can do is look for your mat to actually bump up a little bit. What you want to do is, where they meet, if you look and wait for it to actually like bump the mat up that you're moving, you know you're on top of the item. Yeah, I'll show you this way first, and I'll show you an even better way. You're gonna have to look carefully at it. Now remember, the mat that I'm picking up is the one that's gonna be bumping up if it works right. Did you see it? It's really, really subtle, mostly because of the roof that I'm on. If the roof was, if I was using flooring, you'd see it a lot better than if I'm using roof. Did you see it? You probably didn't see it. You know what, let's do it this way. I'm going to use a turret, which is a lot more noticeable than using a mat on top of a mat. Especially up here. Okay, this huge thing, you're going to notice it gain a little bit of height when I'm actually on top of the mat. See that little jump right there? Okay, let's try it again. See that? It's very, very not noticeable. Let me see. Watch this. See that? Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this mat on top of another mat, which is going to raise the height considerably. Mostly because remember, it's still on top of each other. So the more mats you have on top of each other, the higher the height of something goes. Now when I try to put a turret on it, you'll definitely notice the height change in it. Once again, to make sure that everything's connected, lift up the first mat, and if everything lifts up, you're good to go. Okay. Now that I got that, let me change this a little bit to make it a little bit more straight. And we'll do it again. Now you'll definitely be able to see a height difference when it bumps up. See that? Yeah. Alright, one last time. There we go. Now we know it's on the mat. If you want to put it all the way on the mat, that's cool. But as long as you just have it where it just starts to bump up, you're good to go. There we go. Now with that being said, once again, the same laws apply here. I just have to be able to place this mat that I'm clicking on, not the whole thing. So now, if I want, I can place this turret actually inside of the other turret. So if you really want to do something cool, you could have it look like there's only one turret up there, but you could actually have like 100 turrets inside itself. Which I actually don't advise doing. And the only reason I'm saying that is not because it'll glitch things out. No. The reason I'm saying that is this. Just like with the machine gun turrets, eventually they're going to need repairs and get conked out. Whether it gets conked out from regular wear and tear, which is in the game, or from getting attacked by enemies. Like, I really doubt something's going to be able to shoot it from up this high. It would have to be actually in your settlement and not get killed over. But sometimes that does happen. Sometimes enemies will attack your turrets. But that loosely goes for turrets that are, you know, in reach area of the enemy. These are so high up they're not in reach. So, only thing you really have to worry about is just the wear and tear. But eventually, you will have to repair these turrets. And if they're all sitting inside of each other, you're going to have one hell of a time trying to click on the exact turret you need to repair. But to each their own. However, using this formula, we're going to be able to place turrets next to each other inside the square. Now, I'll show you how I'm going to do that briefly, just briefly. So we're going to start with these turrets here first. And we're going to put the stuff in on the corners. Like so. Alright, it's getting dark, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn our lights so we can see stuff. And we're going back in. Good. Alright, so using the corners of our grid. What I want to do now is I want to have the foot like in a dead corner space of this center roof and floor. And then I want to have the gap that I have on this side from the edge of this roof to that foot. I want to see that same amount of space over on that side. And then it's perfect. That's just me. You guys can really do this any way you want to, but that's the way that I'm doing it. Alright, so then I'm going to end up putting a turret here, a turret there, and a turret there. Then using those mats, I'll be able to put two turrets in between each other. I will leave that one there. Let's grab that one. Alright, that reminds me. Be careful when you're grabbing these. Do not stand directly on a turret. If you do so, the turret will start moving you either forward or backwards. You might find yourself falling off. For instance, as you can see, it's moving me completely backwards. And if I lean the turret forward, well, slightly forward, as you can see, it is moving me completely backwards up here. You do not want to fall off this place. And that's just with the view. That's not with the walk stick. Like right now I'm walking. This is just with the view stick. It is moving me backwards. Alright. Let's see. This one is... okay, that's not it. Alright, it must be these two, which are... yeah, there we go. Okay, so like I said, using that same method, you can then go ahead and place a turret right inside here, like so. Which I'll do now just because I want you guys to see this. Alright. I'm going to try to place it straight to the edge right there, so it's going to take a little bit of inching forward to make sure that it's on there. Now, when it comes to the edge, you can go ahead and put the foot leg right on the tip of this. However, when it comes to this part right here, this is not the edge. You're actually going to want to have this foot hang over the side. Only because you want this turret to be able to shoot over the side as well. Like if something was directly below it. Because of how the thing is. Alright, that's a little bit too much over. Let me bring it back just a little bit. Alright, perfect. Cool. Alright, now, once you actually get that in place, now this works with turrets. This doesn't work with mats. So if I did this with a mat, just to raise one mat up, this wouldn't work out. But since it's not a mat, this works perfectly. Once we're actually in position, all you do now is just store the mat. And now you're good to go. Now you can do it again. Now you can go here, place this down, get another mat. Doesn't really matter which one it is. Once again, pick up the first piece to see if you can pick everything else up. Grab you another turret. And you're good to go. Alright, perfect. Boom. And there are your fours, and you just do that all the way around in like a square. Now that's if you actually want to keep the structure up here. Like I said, I'm doing this without the structure, so we're not going to be keeping our turrets like that. So we're still going to be using these mats, but as far as the turret spacing goes, we're not too worried about it. So what I'm going to do actually is something like this. this way, instead of looking like a square, it will look like a circle. Now we still have 4 more turns after I place this one over here, to which I'll get to. Now the best thing about using a circle over a square is I can actually get in the center of here, which we'll need to when we're ready to power this thing up. We're going to need to get into the center over here. So what I mean is I can click to jump, and I'm in the center. When you have a square, you cannot jump over a turret to save your life. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to actually click on the turret, move it out the way, walk inside, and then hit the cancel button so that the turret goes back into place. But that's only for the squares. Alright, so right now we're good. We have 8 turns up here. Now technically I could just say, you know what, we got 8 turns, we're good. But I did say 12, so why not keep that going? Alright, now here comes the tricky part. Now, how do we want to do this for the turns that's actually just going to be floating in the air? There's a number of things I could do. Now I could keep this as a circle, or I could try to fill in this inside part a little bit. Or I could actually have things like sticking off to the side, kind of making it look like a real satellite that's in the air. Now you guys know the shapes of like real satellites, right? We could kind of like design these or put them in a pattern to make it look more satellite-like. However, I'm cool right now. I'm not going to put too much thought into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some satellites, or my bad, turrets on the inside. So, using the mat, which we have, let me grab one real quick. I'll pick that up. Jump inside here. And we should be good. Now, unfortunately, it seems I may have too big of a mat. Or too long of a mat, I guess you could say. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and store this one. Actually, no, we're not going to use those anymore. I'll go ahead and scrap that. And we're good to go. Let me jump out here. Now let me pick this one up. Jump back in here. Now on to the next one. Grab that. Too close to the turret. Let me just grab this turret. Yeah. And you just do it like this. You know, that one seems a little bit too close. Let's go ahead and move that down a little bit more. Oops, okay. Good enough. Okay. So now we're done. Don't need to move anything else. So now we can go ahead and just get rid of all of our mats. Alright. Let me get out of here. Let me jump over this one. Oops, trying to connect the wire. Let's look upwards, and we're good. Let's see, I can jump over these actually, which is something that's going to be kind of hard when you have the square ones. But I can easily jump over these. Alright, so now we have our turns up here. Now we have to worry about wiring. Now, we could do very, very simple basic wiring, but we're not going to do that. Mostly because we're going for a design for our satellites, because the wiring does add to the design. And also because we don't want to put a weakness in our system. What I mean is, let's say we have all these turrets wired up together, and then we use one turret to power up everything, right? Sounds like a good idea, right? But it's actually not. Let's say we have all these turrets powered up, and then let's say we have this turret connected to the power source. So then when this one's powered up, all of these are powered up. But that's also a flaw, because when this turret actually breaks down and stops working, the rest of them also stop working because this one is the power source now. So what we need to do now is make it so that all these are individually powered up. So if one goes off, it doesn't stop the others. So what we're going to do is, let's jump back here in the center. We're going to make the power source a conduit instead. So we're going to put this right in the center of this whole roof right here. Let me move that a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Right. It's centerish, good enough. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to individually have all this stuff connected to this power source. After that, if you want to connect all these turrets together, that's cool too. That will add to the design of your satellite, because you will actually be able to see the wires from below. So it does add to the design. But individually, you want to make sure that everything's connected to this conduit by itself. So, let's see. First things first, I'm going to connect to the ones on the outside, because those are going to be the hardest ones to do later. Alright, let's see. I see the wire, so we're going to hit attach wire. There we go. Okay, once again. There. Alright, you know, let's do it this way. Okay. There, that's easier. Attach wire. Attach wire. Now as you see, I'm pretty much turning my screen so that this is no longer highlighted, because even though my green dot is on the other, well, as you see, even though my green dot is on the other turret, it's still highlighting the one that's below it. So I'm going to turn my camera until, there we go. The one that's highlighted is the one you click on, no matter where your green dot's at. Alright, so we went around, I got 8 hooked up. Now we're going to do the ones on the inside. So this one. Go. There we go. There we go. Alright, there. Now I have all 12. Now you could end it just like this, but once again, like I said, if you want to create an actual pattern for your satellite, what you can do now is just hook these together just for the hell of it. Just to give your satellite a sort of a pattern when you look at it from the ground. Doesn't really matter how you hook them together. You can hook them all up together if you want to create like patterns in the sky. But it's completely up to you. Now this pattern will most likely only be visible from like daylight. At nighttime, I doubt you'll be able to see the wires all that well, but it's completely up to you. And yeah, this does take some time if you're doing it this way, but hey. Alright, let's see what we got now. Oh, alright. Missing some stuff. Like I said, you can hook these up any way you want to. It's completely up to you. Now, I can even hook up this front one to the back one if I want. There we go. It's completely up to you, the pattern you make. I could really attach like I could probably attach maybe 30 more wires, if actually probably more than that here, but for the sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. This video's long enough as it is already. Okay, so now let's back up a little bit, jump over this, and just look at our wiring job. All of these turns are individually connected to the conduit, which is good, but they're also connected to each other to give us up a pattern in the sky, which is what we're looking for. So we're good enough to go. I could attack more stuff, but I'm not going to do all that. Especially for a game that I'm not going to save, because I already have this place already decked out, so we're good. I just came back here to build stuff so you guys can see it. Alright, now we have to worry about our power source. Okay, so we have 12 turns, and each one of these costs 2 power. So we need something that can power up at least 24 power. So, what's next? What are we going to do next? Well, as I said earlier, you're going to have to think of a way to power this up. So, I'm going to show you guys something. Something pretty cool, at least I think so. We're going to pick one of these spaces to actually get rid of, just to make it easier for what we're about to do. And I think I'm going to choose this one. Now remember, mind your surroundings. You don't want to fall to your death. Alright, we're going to scrap this. Hey, notice how it's floating. That's all we're going to be doing. But we'll get to later of how to do all of this, because there is a certain way to get this to work perfectly. So I'll show you that later. But for now, let me show you how we're going to do our wiring. Now this is really just for those people who want to keep the structure up here now, okay? So I'll show you how to wire this if you want to keep your structure up here. And then I'll show you how to wire this if you don't want to have any of the wooden structures, just the turrets up here. AKA nothing holding it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to be glitching the wires now. Just a little bit. Let me show you a little bit of what I mean. Okay, so let's do it up here because this will be a little bit safer for me as far as standing. Okay, so I have this conduit and this conduit over here. Let's say I want to connect them, right? So I click on this one. I try to make it over here, but as you can see, it's going through the roof, so it's not actually going to work. I would have to put a conduit closer for it to work, and then I would have to put even more conduits there. As you can see, now this one connects, and then I have to put another conduit here, and then that one will connect, and then it'll finally go over there. But let's say I don't want to do all that. Let's say I'm going to store this because I need it for later. Let's say I just want to connect this straight to that. I don't want any middleman in the middle. I just want to do one direct connection. There's a way of doing that. All you have to do is glitch the wires. Alright, so I'm going to add this back just so that I can have two things connected up. Okay, it doesn't matter how these two are connected up, as long as there's a wire connected. It doesn't really matter. However, now we're going to glitch the wire. We're going to make it so that one connects directly to the other. first thing you want to do is go to the conduit that you actually want to connect one thing to. That conduit already needs to have a connection to it. Okay, this will only work if it already has a connection to it, which is why I put this back here. Position yourself so that you're closer to the wire than you are to the conduit. That is a must. So we're going to pretty much, I'm standing on the wire right now. So the wire is closer to me than the conduit. Now position yourself so that you're highlighting the conduit. Now slowly move to the wire as soon as you are on the wire. However, yeah, right here's good. I'm on the wire, but the conduit is still behind the wire. So if the wire wasn't there, I'd also be highlighting the conduit. Now that you're pretty much on both, at the bottom you see it says hit X for select, hit circle for store, and hit the touchpad for exit. You're going to hit triangle to attach wire. Now I know the option's not up there, but as you guys can see right here on the conduit, attach wire is an option. So while we're over both items, we're going to hit triangle now, and if you do it right, you'll see the words up there flash where it says wire power conduit to power conduit. You're going to see that flash, and you're also going to hear a spark if you do this right. Alright, it flashed, and there's the spark. Now, we're going to go straight to this conduit and hit attach wire. There, it worked. Now over there it says build with copper. Yes, that's right. Wires take copper, so make sure you have enough copper. Alright, hit circle to exit out so that the copper thing goes away. And now you have a direct line straight to this. So now if you want, you can go ahead and store or scrap your other conduit, and now you have a straight connection from there to there. Using this same method, you could connect one part of your settlement to the other. For instance, this corner right over there, you see where my green circle dot is, or this green dot is at? I can connect that corner right there to a power line that's all the way over in that corner over there where the outhouse is. A direct line. It's pretty helpful if you ask me. Alright, so using the same formula, we're going to connect the top of this all the way to the bottom. Alright, let me get rid of these conduits now. Actually, we're going to store these because I'll be using these conduits in the powering up of our place. At least one of them. I could probably scrap this one, so we'll go ahead and scrap that. Okay. So, as I said, using this formula, how are we going to put our conduits down here? Well, we're going to do it kind of easy, like. First off, we have to be able to walk down here, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and grab a ladder. Now keep in mind that this glitching technique is, we're only going to be using this for people who want to work around for not having stuff floating in the air. Now keep in mind, I also said that I have another video for you guys to watch that you'll like a lot better than this one, as its structure actually is built to have supports with it. But this one's supposed to be a satellite in the air, so yeah. Alright, so I got steps here because I want to be able to walk up and down it real quick. Alright, now we're going to go back over to power. Conduits. What we're going to do now is we're going to put a conduit right on this. Now to make it easier for when we do our walls, if you want to put walls around your thing, to make it easier, you're actually going to want to put the conduit on the inside of your thing. That way you won't have a problem when you're trying to wall this thing up, as it won't be touching any of the actual out parts of it. What I mean is this, like, let's say you're putting up this wall, right? Let me make sure I'm a little bit away so it actually works. Yeah, see, the conduit's not coming in contact with any other objects, so it snaps right to it. And you can put walls all around this thing to make it look good. If you want to keep your structure. That's only if you want to keep your structure. Alright. Now, once again, what we're going to do is the conduit that's right in the center right there, we're going to glitch it so that it hits this conduit right there. Now, you could also move this conduit up more to the top if you want. Keep in mind that you have turrets up there, so you're going to have to make sure that you don't, you know, get too close to them, or it won't allow you to place it. There we go. Move that up a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to glitch it again. Once again, to glitch it, you're going to have to make sure that you're close enough to the actual conduit there. Now, because of the turrets right here, it's going to be a little bit difficult to do that. Because as you can see, I'm always highlighting a terminal. However, if I can get close enough to the wire... Oh, this also is a good thing. I should mention this too. As you can see right now, I can highlight a wire, which is great. However, whichever side is closer is the side that the wire actually attaches to. For instance, this wire. If the wire is more closer to that turret, that means that when I try to attach it, it's going to start at that turret. If this wire is more closer to the conduit, that means that it's going to attach from that conduit. So I'm actually going to need to move this down some, because it's going closer to this turret. I need to actually go down here some, but it doesn't seem to want to allow me to do that. So what I could do is I could just keep walking around here until I get to a good enough space to where it actually allows me to go straight to the conduit. Kind of like what just happened there. However, as you can see, the conduit is not exactly under the wire. And while I am closer to the wire than the conduit, this probably won't work. Now, you could try doing that glitch from here. I don't know if it'll work for you. It may not work. However, once again, if it does work, you'll hear the spark. And there's no spark because the conduit's not beneath where I'm pointing at. So a way around this is we're going to build a ladder just to elevate ourselves. Doesn't matter which ladder you're using. I'm going to use this because it's convenient. I have a little porch at the top I can stand on. From this height, you should be able to... Oops, let's go down some. We don't want to go out of work mode. From this height, you should be able to... Yep, highlight a wire. Okay, so we're going to be using this one. And I'm close enough to the conduit. It should work now. There we go. It worked. Okay, so now we're going to come down here. Going to jump on these stairs. Cool. And now we're going to attach to this conduit. There we go. Straight from one conduit to another. If you want to see if it worked out right, just look at the conduit and see if you see a wire going through the floor from that conduit to your other conduit. Now that we did that, what we're going to do now is we're going to place another conduit all the way at the bottom of the base. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. This was part 2. We got one more part left in this part 3. I promise it's the last part. Thanks for watching this video, guys, so much. Thank you. Thank you for getting all the way through this long video. Oh, God. Thank you so much. Anyway, guys, it's your boy Darkblade, XX of Dark Enforcers, aka Black Hawk, Division Leader for DCUO. Dark Enforcers, starting to try this.
Today's high near 57 degrees. Tonight, your high cover with a low of 39.